Hello, hello, hello. You are tuning in to the Nifty 90's, the stylish edition. We are going to talk about faith today. I have been having a very interesting time with recording this, so I'm not going to hold you all too long, but we're going to get into the discussion of faith. Faith is a very interesting topic, and I promise you this will be a very brief segment. What is faith? As I've been saying on every other week, faith is the push to go on. In what ways can you, your friends, your family, and people close to you acknowledge or improve ways to go about pursuing their faith? There are many ways and many directions that you can do that, but I want you all to consider that on this holiday season. Now, originally, I've recorded this about it's taken me 6 to 7 hours for a 30-minute segment to record, but I really want to get into faith. Now, when we consider faith, there are many aspects, and as I've been recording this multiple times, I've gone about this in different angles, and maybe the Lord wanted this one to work. Let's consider some people who have other directions and ways they want to live their lives. Now, for those of us, me included, who may not feel that their faith is strong enough to go on, how do we encourage ourselves to keep pushing when we don't see any outlets or ways to get where we have to go? Now, that's a challenge that I personally have every day. So to make this more of a personalized situation, because the other segments I had were not as personalized, I personally think, going to church, being around a positive group, that helps with improving our need and our desire to have faith. Now, with faith, there are many different angles when you discuss faith, but my whole purpose of this faith segment is to encourage you all to push. Now, all the other recordings, they had all different types of explanations and reasonings and stuff like that. But for these 30 minutes, we're going to discuss faith. Now, what do you do when you run out of a push and you run out of an option? Now, if you don't have a certain group of friends, if you don't go to church, how do you uphold your faith? There are many ways to do that. And I'm going to actually have to be careful with what I say, because that's a really hard question. Because here's my thing. If I grew up around people who helped me to stay in a certain vein, but let me talk to the people who, after not always assume that everybody had that option. So what do you do when you want to be faithful in different aspects of your life? Even let's keep it basic, in your relationship, in your friendships, and you don't know how? That's a really hard question. And if faith is a push, we have to realize that there are many ways that you can push. For example, how do you remain faithful in a relationship? Do you cut off distractions? That don't always help. Do you just hang out with them all the time? That's not natural. People gotta go to work. People gotta go to school. So, as far as faith is concerned, what are the ways and the key things, this can be Googled, that we as, in any age, can practice faith? We all have our days, we all have our good days, we all have our bad days. But past faith, we have to also realize that things are going to change. Things are going to alter. Things are not going to go the way that we want them to. But there's another word that I may have to get into in a couple weeks, and that's grace. And there are different aspects of grace that we have to consider. And in life, things will happen. But if you don't use the word grace, you'll have some bad things that'll happen. But at the end of that, it may or may not be a glimmer of hope for you. And you may have to, if you think about all the negative things that happened, that you overachieved and got over, you look back years later and say, hey, I got through that. wasn't even as hard as I thought. It even took faith for me to even reconsider that maybe what I thought was wrong was not as bad as I thought. See, I originally had, this was going to be a topic, I was going to get into faith. I read scriptures. I did a definition of, reasons why we push. That did not record. And I'm like, Lord, this has been a very interesting week for me. I'm getting over a cold. It's the holiday season. Why won't this record? I have to have the faith. I have to honestly have the faith to keep recording this. My time is real short. I had to go out of town in 2 days. I have the faith to not give up. Perseverance. I should have really done, not faith, but perseverance. Originally, I tried to keep all the segments in F, faith, fashion, family. I really want you all to persevere and not give up. That's the whole reason I really made this segment. It's easy to give up. It's easy to go with life, living the status quo. When everything around you is tumbling, don't give up. When everything looks bad, look up. And when you look up, it honestly, you can do this even wherever you are. When you look up, you can feel your heart. And just touch your heart. When you look up, then you can feel this burn. And that push, that's enough. And if sometimes you're going to be alone, you don't feel like you have anybody, and that heartbeat, that signifies that you're still alive. And thank God you're alive. And if you have the faith enough to look up and say, hey, I need help, that's enough. And God knows, you may not need to sit and just look up, and God will work it out. Sometimes you need to get to yourself and look up. Keep doing it. It really clears your head. You'll feel this, your heart will keep beating. There's so many aspects, again, with faith that I never considered. And the more that I do these segments, and the more that I have to reach out to people every week, I've also realized, this is the faith segment, everything's not what it appears to be. I've just realized making a faith segment was actually a challenge. I tried to keep this format. It was more like a, teacher school work plan. Faith is a hard topic to discuss, because at the end of the day, I'm still battling with my own things and how to have faith in many situations. So this particular segment may not be that long, because I want you all to reflect. We're going to do something a little bit differently. I'm going to ask some questions, and we're going to get quiet. Because if we're talking about faith, the best way to discuss faith is allowing you all to think. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to really, really redo this. I want you to get a way to write down things. If you have a notepad, a pen, or paper, I'm going to give you about a couple of seconds. I'm not going to talk too fast. And I want you all to find a way to write. You can do this on your computer. You may have an app. You may have a notepad app. And I want you to write a couple of words that I use to get through my day, that I had to learn throughout life as I've, got better in having faith. And I want you to write these down, so when you have a rough moment, you can refer to these notes when you have a bad day, or when you don't have the faith to go on. One of those first things I want to say is God is there. Now, my previous recording, that did not work. I literally read out scriptures about faith during hard times. And it really caused me to think things in a different light. And I want y'all to remember that God is there. When you're alone, maybe you'll listen to this now. God is there. It doesn't matter what you did previously. God still loves you. Now, I have my faults. I have my issues. But see, the love of God, it overshadows all of that. And we have to remember. Because at the end of the day, some people say, oh, I've done this, done that. But God, He's still there. Also, another thing you can write down, don't give up. You're going to feel like giving up. I feel like giving up every day. But you have the faith, don't give up. Every opportunity isn't for you. Every person in your life is not for you. So you have to get to a point in your life where you say, hey. And you keep on going. Because who has time to sit and waddle in a sea of despair? It's easy to do that. It's natural to just shut down when things happen. But if things keep happening, keep shutting down, life will go on. And you just keep shutting down, keep shutting down, keep shutting down. And then your life, years and years and years and years and years and years. Because every day is going to be something. So do you just give up right then? You can't do it. I know that's hard. You got to cry. If you got to write it out, whatever you got to do. If you got to write a book. And every book, they need to be publicized. Some books can become blogs to keep secrets. Find a way to get it out. Have the faith, if you want to write this down too, have the faith to do something different. What I mean by that, if everybody around you is wearing purple one day, wear blue. You don't realize that simple idea will make you feel so different. Because if you're around people that everybody's doing the same thing, you will start to become very bold with your life without realizing it. You don't see what others do. So if everyone's wearing red, wear blue. If everyone's wearing blue, wear red. Those simple things not only get you out of your comfort zone, but they can also alter your faith so that you can think differently. Another thing that you all can write down, we're changing up the segment of the radio show, is that faith, everybody has faith. Faith is not a hard concept. It's actually a very simple term with very different viewpoints. So, when you get up in the morning to the end of your day alters, your day changes. So each part of your life alter your viewpoint on faith. And take that into consideration too. Your faith will alter as your life alters, if you want to write that down too. I'm going to start making like certain points, so if you want to quote this, because here's the thing, this happened years ago. I would say it literally made me viral. Years ago, when I had more time to be on social media, I'd write these long posts down about things, and they would be very, thought-provoking. Granted, at these points, most people didn't realize I had to be in some of the most unusual parts of my life, but I want to encourage others. So what I did, unlike other people, instead of getting on there and discussing my issues on social media, I use it as an outlet to find the best in a rough situation. So people would take my post and they would, rewrite it in their own way. So if you do, that's fine. It's not fully copywritten right now, but I realized I went extremely viral for just saying certain things that came out of my mind. Have the faith to think about things that you never think you need to think about. Now that's a really odd situation, but as I mentioned on another recording that didn't make it, bucket list, whatever you gotta do, get out of that comfort zone. And I've made that awful mistake. You get in such a mode that everything's the same. It's kind of like having the faith to be different. But you really, really, really need to just shift everything. Change your scenery, change your crowd. And it'll give you a better outlook on life. I'm really at a loss for words because honestly, when I discussed faith and I'll be honest, when I began this radio show, I was like, I'm going to do what everybody else is doing. Then I started doing it. And honestly, I hear a lot of radio shows. I listen to The Breakfast Club, many other things that I won't list to name. And when I get off of these particular stations, as a millennial, I always have these millennial questions. So when I'm saying things, it made me be very millennial based. But this is for all ages. You can be any age and have problems with your faith. You can be any age and be confused. So I want to encourage you, now that we're at the halfway point, to have the faith to step out and accept where you are in life and improve each day on things that you can improve. Whenever you can improve, because it's not for you to improve, but those things that need to be improved, improve. Like, for instance, I have to have the faith to admit, you can write that down, have the faith to admit, I've been lacking in the daughterly department. I need to start doing more domestic things in my home. I said, hey, as it relieves some time for my mom, I'm going to start doing more chores. Now, a lot of kids, they grow up choreless and all this. I've been blessed. I didn't have to do that. But I have to have the faith to mature enough, you can write that down, to have the faith to mature, because I need to start doing more domestic things. So I may not be on social media as much in 2019, because I'm trying to get Brittanee right. I might be washing clothes. I'm probably going to be cooking. I might be vacuuming to relieve my mom. And I knew that I had this issue. I didn't tell anybody. I knew I had this concern because, honestly, I haven't put in such a mode of, okay, Brittanee, everything's being done for you, that my mind had kind of messed up. And then I got older and I said, I'm literally trying to every day break myself out of this mode and say, hey, I gotta learn how to be more responsible. And this is a personal struggle that I've had, and I want you all to make a note about that too. Have the faith to realize you struggle, because it's been a challenge to break that mode from having everything done for you to having to fly out on your own. That's hard. And every day I say, okay, I'm gonna do it. Get a text, I get an email. But I bet in a couple of weeks, couple of days, even tomorrow, that's all shifting. If it takes a chore list, as immature as it may sound, to get it on a structure, I'm gonna do it. Because my mom has done more than enough for me. The least I can do is pick up a little bit more, wash some clothes, or cook some food. And these are things that, hey, you can make jokes all you want to, home ec, but these are life skills that need to be done. I'm not saying that I don't know how to do it. I just didn't feel like I needed to, because somebody was always there for me, and they always did that. And I appreciate my mom, I really do. I don't know anyone else who could do it up to her standard, but I gotta have the faith to grow. And maybe this is what the low one you ought to hear. Have the faith to grow. I am aware of my issues. I'm aware of my concerns. But as hard as it sounds, it's not easy. Again, when you get in a certain mode, and you get in a certain way of doing things, to break that, and as weird as it is, it's going to be hard to reshift my schedule and do more things around the house that I haven't been doing. That may sound easy to a lot of people, but it won't be easy for me. That's a lot. So I have to have the faith to realize that everything's going to be okay, because when I move out on my own, I got to manage the house, I got to cook, I got to clean, I got to do everything on my own. If I'm not starting at my own house, what am I going to do? And I've had great people to look after and watch and see how it's done the proper way, and that's not the problem. I just gotta have the faith to grow, and the faith to fully mature into who I need to be. And this may not take 20 minutes or 30 minutes of my time, but this may be the one that the Lord want everybody to hear. And I've recorded. But I've literally poured my heart out on this one, because I had to use myself as an example. But as we come to a close, because we're about to head closer to the 10-minute mark, have the faith, as I mentioned on other recordings that didn't make it, say that you've made mistakes. you could have been a better daughter. You could have done this. You could have done that. And even though you can't go back in time, make it a goal to do better next time. And do more. And have the faith to do more. Have the faith to jump out of your comfort zone and do better for yourself. That doesn't cost anything but time. All this takes is reshifting of the mind. I didn't think this was going to go this way. I honestly wasn't trying to make my radio show go this direction. But at this point in my life, being that I'm headed to 30 and headed to, years of major responsibility, life tends to alter as you get older. And I, again, have to take personal accounts in order to, before I even talk about trying to encourage someone else about faith, I've realized that I have my own personal battles that I need to even focus on more than I even thought I needed to. That sounds unusual and odd, but it's really hard to express and try to encourage people in an area where I just realized I'm still improving in myself. You may have other situations and needs to show your faith. But at the end of this radio chat or radio show, whatever you want to call it, I want you to do what I'm doing, and that's realizing that you could have done better before. You want to make an effort to make some changes. Change is always good. There's nothing wrong with change. There's nothing wrong with improving yourself. There's nothing wrong with becoming a better you. And past just being unique, we have to step up and be better people and take better roles for ourselves. And as this show comes to a close, I want you all to consider everything that I said. Let this be an encouragement to you as you go about your day, prepare for the holiday, and do what you must do. I thank you for taking out the time to listen, and we'll be back next week talking about fashion. Enjoy your holiday. Talk to you all soon. This is the end of the Nifty 90's, the stylish edition, and we are talking about faith. I thank you for taking all the time to listen to me, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bye-bye.